that is just too high for them, and nobody puts them on a pedestal. People put Freebird on a pedestal, but not Lynyrd Skynyrd. No,
they are
Disagree.
they are the Foo Fighters of this genre. That's fair.
You were just fucking
right?
cruising for a bruise, and I'll tell you that much right now.
That's fair, right?
Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go! I actually already forgot, and then it was silent, and then I remembered. I already forgot. So welcome back to Asinine Radio. I guess I'm doing the intro today because Tyler is out sick. Fucking thanks for listening and stuff. Yeah, this is awful. I'm terrible at this.
You want me to do it? You want me to take over?
Don't forget to rate us and call the number and subscribe to the intro song, right? Is that how it goes?
That's exactly how the intro goes. So this is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into a different band or artist, and we listen to the record, we break it down, we find out all the secrets about it, and then we let you in on those secrets. My name is Tyler, and way out there, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. While you're listening, go to Apple Podcasts, go to Spotify, give us 5 stars, and 5 stars only. We have all the social media crap, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all the boring stuff. The handles on those are at Asinine Radio, and we have a Discord server. If you want to join that, hit us up. We'll send you the link, talk shit like everybody else does. And we have a phone number that you can call. You can leave us a voicemail. You could shoot us a text message. That phone number is 503-893-5307. Now, Jeff, what are we doing today?
It would have been, I really would have liked to ask, and Tyler, and then done that for, I'm just going to do it anyway, and Tyler, just to pretend that I did the whole intro flawlessly. And, okay. and Tyler, what are we doing today?
We are doing Lynyrd Skynyrd and their record pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd. What is what's your origin story with the Lynyrd Skynyrds? What do you got? Go.
I really don't know. I mean, Sweet Home Alabama has probably got to be my earliest memory of Lynyrd Skynyrd, but I really don't know. I mean, like I said, Sweet Home Alabama reminds me of just idiots at the river, and that's where I heard a lot of Skynyrd, was at the river with like my mom. Mm-hmm. So I don't have like a distinctive memory. I just know I've been hearing and listening either on purpose or indirectly to Skynyrd for a long time. But it really wasn't until at least probably fairly recently, probably within the past like 5 to 10 years, where I really realized that Freebird guitar-wise isn't as shreddy as you think it is. Yeah. And Skynyrd themselves aren't as like talented as you think they probably should be, as lore would lead you to believe they are. But that's what makes this album so damn fucking good. It's those two things. So that's what I got. That's it. I don't know.
Does it make it good though?
That's fantastic. It's fucking unreal. This is an unbelievable album.
Okay. All right. My origin story is much like yours. I don't know where it began. I know, when I was young, my mom listened to a lot of classic rock from the 70s, fucking Ted Nugent, Rush, Queen, fucking Alice Cooper, Pink Floyd, whatever. And she was never really into Skynyrd, but I know this song would play a lot when we would, wherever we were going, driving in the car, she was cleaning the house, whatever it was, Sweet Home Alabama it came on a lot. So maybe that's probably my origin story. Maybe, what was it? Not My Name? That's Not My Name? Wait, what's that song?
Not your name. What's your name? What's your name?
Yeah. That might have been my origin story, because I never knew that was a Skynyrd song until this week. But, it's either Sweet Home Alabama or What's Your Name? But otherwise, yeah, I don't have a specific memory. Freebird, I totally agree with you. that was a song that I never heard until I was probably in high school, and I was like, "Oh, this is it's cool." They play a guitar solo for so long, but it's not as shreddy as most people think it is, and this band is kind of overrated as musicians. They're kind of overrated.
Take a step back. Hold on there, brother.
I don't know about that, dude.
Hold on.
Hold on. Yeah. They are kind of overrated, but they
are not overrated.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll get more into that.
Nobody gushes over Skynyrd. Nobody.
Okay, that's fine.
So how can they be overrated?
Over Freebird, though.
But Freebird's a fantastic fucking song. It's amazing. It's really unreal. No, this band is amazing. Song. This album is amazing.
Oh. Okay. So, what are your first impressions on this record pronounced Lynyrd Skynyrd?
This band is not as talented as lore would lead you to believe, and because of the plane crash, they are now cemented into music history. No matter what, just for any other reason than now they're part of a small group of people that died in a plane crash.
Yeah.
So even if they had a shit time before that, they're still talked about. But they didn't have a shit time; they had a great time before that. So this album is just not as complex, and they're playing fucking just southern rock music, which inherently isn't that complex anyway. But one quote that I read that really like resonated, and I thought that was solid. I like that. Was one reviewer from back in the day in like the 70s was he said the difference between this band and the other big southern rock band that is sometimes better is that the other band when they hear a song that doesn't quite sound right, they work it out. They figure out what doesn't sound right about it. They make it better. They make it sound right. They make it flow nicer. With Skynyrd, they just turn everything up and just kind of get more rambunctious and then just say, fuck it. That's all we got. And that's it. And I think that's fair because
I read that same thing too, but I can't. Was it Chris Gow?
He's the guy that does like, it probably was him because he's the one that's all over Wikipedia.
Yeah. He's pretty much reviewed everything from like 1970 until now.
Yeah, it's him. Then. Because if you click on his fucking name, it's unreal. Like how many? I mean, I shouldn't say it's unreal because we listen to a lot of music too. But it's unreal that he has now documented it, which I guess we've also documented too through verbal.
And better than he has ever, because we're better than him.
For the most part, whenever I see his reviews, I agree. I agree with most of the vast majority of things that he thinks are bad. I think are bad. With things that are good, I think are good. So I do agree with most of what he says.
I thought you used to talk shit on him.
I think he's a tool. I think instead of just reviewing something, he has to be like Todd from fucking Beer Advocate and use all these crazy similes and similarities and other
similes and similarities.
I was trying to like make up a word that had simile in it, but I couldn't think of anything. That's all I got. But anyway, Skynyrd is a band that just shows that like you don't have to be fucking Jimmy Page and fucking John Bonham to play music. My God, get off it. You don't have to be Dwayne Allman and be this one of the greatest guitarists of all time. You don't have to be this shit. You can just play fucking blues music and put a southern twist on it because that's what Skynyrd did. They're not great at their instruments, no, but they're better than average. They're much better than average. Every single one in the band is much better than average. And yeah, Freebird isn't as crazy complex as I thought it was when we were playing Guitar Hero right out of high school. No, but it still fucking rips. It still rips hard. It still leads somewhere. It is still a perfect song from beginning to end. So I don't care, okay? I don't care if like fucking this isn't Dwayne Allman over here and Jimmy Page does it better. Fuck off, okay? This album is amazing. This album is a perfect example of a bunch of guys that just wanted to make this sound, that wanted to make this type of music, and knew they weren't that great, but are still pretty good, and just did it anyway.
You sounded like the Long Island January 6th guy.
Fucking love fucking guy.
So Dudesy Pod. You know, you're gonna hear a lot of references for a while from the Dudesy podcast.
Just like seeps into your subconscious at this point.
Dude, it has. It really has. Especially now that I have somebody that I could talk to about it, that gets it. Well, I don't know about that, dude.
Anytime I hear someone just say like brother or dude, I just automatically go back. Hold on there, dude. Hold on, dude. Hold on, dude.
Oh my God, Will Sasso is the best. Anyway, Lynyrd Skynyrd. I went into this week. I did have high expectations. I don't know why I did, but
No, you hated this fucking band.
I was just I was very disappointed, very, very disappointed from start to finish listening to all their records. I did like if you listen to the rankings episode, I did enjoy a few of their records, but overall I wouldn't buy any of them on vinyl. But I don't know why I was expecting more. Maybe because they're just so popular. It's like ZZ Top. They have such an iconic name and just style to them, but when you listen to their albums, they're fine. They're fine hard rock, blues rock. There's nothing bad about them, but dude, that's a band too I'm never going to go back to.
Like ZZ Top and Skynyrd, that's a good comparison. The difference being like they're opposites, whereas ZZ Top individually are fucking phenomenal. Like Billy Gibbons is one of the greatest guitarists of all time.
No, he's an amazing guitar player.
But when you put them all together, they're fucking trash. These guys, on the other hand, you sit them individually, and like, okay, that's cool. Like you're just any other really good guitar player, whatever. But you put them together, man, and like you cannot even fucking deny that objectively half of these songs are so fucking catchy.
Well, I really don't. I don't think so because I'm not a huge fan of Ronnie's vocals. I think he slays.
I don't think his
melodies
slays.
are that great. He's not a bad singer by any means, but his melodies I don't feel are very noteworthy. They don't draw me in like a lot of other bands do. Maybe it's because he's not that unique. I don't think he has a very unique voice. He has a very blues rock, very southern blues rock, which I understand. They essentially, I wouldn't say created, but they really popularized. But it doesn't. They're a dime a dozen.
There's
that
only
style
one
of
band
singing
that does southern rock better than these guys. Literally, only one band.
It's the Allman Brothers Band. Yeah,
I'm not even going to name the entire time because it doesn't matter. We're not talking about them.
I know
but
we're
that's
not talking
the only
about them.
band that does it better than them. But
But
even
they do
then,
it leaps and bounds better.
But even then, I guarantee you, I fucking asked you to name 3 Allman Brothers songs with melodies. You cannot name them.
But that doesn't matter.
And
that
that's
doesn't
the
matter
difference.
because
That
everything
is the
else makes up
difference.
for it.
Because these guys aren't just doing southern rock. These guys are getting into the blues, the Delta blues aspect, where southern rock was born from. No, that's what they're doing.
In
They're
some
getting
songs,
into
yeah.
the Delta blues aspect of southern rock, and just kind of like making it a little bit grittier, making it a little bit more teen, a little more teen angsty, a little more early 20s.
But see, I don't think so because Ronnie's voice is too smooth for the Delta blues. Like if he's trying to go for the Delta blues sound, it doesn't. I don't feel like it has enough of the passion. It doesn't have much of the strain or the feeling that a lot of Delta blues does, which is still an unfair comparison considering a lot of the Delta blues was recorded in the 20s through the 40s, a little bit into the 50s, but it's kind of an unfair comparison. His voice is way too smooth and nice sounding and just lacks a lot of that passion.
But the passion is regardless because you can't, just because he's not gritty or just because he's not a raspy vocalist. Janis Joplin, I don't think has a lot of passion. I fucking can't stand her vocals. I can't say anything about Janis Joplin. But just because he sings more clean doesn't mean there's no passion there. I think that's unfair. But don't forget too, Delta Blues was around for still around. People are still doing it. Yeah, we list off 5, 6, 10 names that are icons, but there were thousands of people that did it that were fucking monotonous and boring.
True.
Countless people that are just fucking forgotten because they were completely boring.
You're right. And Skynyrd kind of falls under that umbrella.
But they don't because they aren't Delta Blues and they're not quite Southern rock.
I agree.
Like, that other band is straight up Southern rock. That other band has made that Southern rock
They're
sound.
called the Allman Brothers Band. That's
not even going to say them. But that
Because
other
it's
band,
stupid.
that
Band
other
that you
band,
love. A
that
guitar
other
player
band
you
owns
love.
Southern rock. They just do because that is that sound. This is not quite that band's version of Southern rock. It's just not.
I understand that. But even taking the Allman Brothers out of this, it still doesn't make for, I don't feel like it makes for that great of an album or band really for that matter.
I honestly don't see where your problems are. I think you have musicians that are at least at minimum above average. At minimum, they're above average. Some of them are pretty goddamn good. You have songs that are really fucking catchy. And like my 2B, which is almost my 1B, because I fucking love this song so goddamn much. But Simple Man is like 3 fucking chords. We are now getting into like the most basic of all, just blues driven music here. We're revolving around 3 chords. We're gonna slow it down, make some long instrumental vocal stuffs, and let's just jam. Let's have a good time. This is a band that had a great time, and I don't know where you think like they're not having fun. That's all this band did was have fucking fun.
Well,
Dude,
yeah,
every
outside of the
interview,
music,
interview that you read, they are fucking stoked to go out there. They're opening for The Who. They're opening for Blue Oyster Cult. They're opening for all these bands that they idolize, that they fucking love, and they're having a great time. They love being in the band together. Yeah, they fought. But
that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the actual music itself. I'm not talking about what they did on stage.
But it does bleed through in the music. It does bleed through in the music. You can hear. There's no better example of it than Simple Man and Freebird.
Also, this band, I'm not saying that they're bad because they're not bad by any means. What I'm primarily saying is that they are really overrated.
Nobody sets them on that pedestal though, except
people
for you
do
right
set
now.
Them in that
Nobody
pedestal.
does. Nobody
people,
does.
Absolutely, people do.
I will Venmo you $100 right now if you name me one person their favorite fucking band is Lynyrd Skynyrd. Right now, I swear to you, I will.
See, that's a dumb thing to say.
It's not a dumb thing to say.
You can say that about just about any fucking band.
I know 2 people offhand that their favorite band is that other band that does Southern rock. Straight up.
Allman Brothers Band. That's fine. Oh yeah, who? Mickey and Mickey?
Well, I don't know. I don't want to do any name. I don't want to talk about the other band. I'm just saying. If to be overrated, there has to be some type of rating that is egregious. That is too much. That is just too high for them, and nobody puts them on a pedestal. People put Freebird on a pedestal, but not Lynyrd Skynyrd. No,
they are the Foo Fighters of this genre. That's fair.
You were just fucking cruising for a bruise, and I'll tell you that much right now.
That's fair, right?
I don't want to hear nothing
Foo Fighters
about
are good. Foo Fighters are good. They have some good songs, but they are vanilla. I understand. They have that mass appeal, much like Skynyrd does.
False. Foo Fighters knew that Foo Fighters
have better songs.
That vanilla genre exists. You are cruising for a bruising, dude. I'll tell you that much right now, brother. I don't hear nothing about it.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, no, that's a dummy comparison. Foo Fighters, that was an established genre.
I actually think that's a very fair
comparison. This is a genre that was not established, that Lynyrd Skynyrd helped pave the way for.
Okay.
Oy.
They help pave the way for it. Doesn't mean they have to be the best at it.
Even if that is true, to compare that to the Foo Fighters, an already established genre for decades, and the Foo Fighters to go into an already established kind of boring genre and then make it even more boring, says more about how shitty the Foo Fighters are than Skynyrd. Even if I would cede that they are boring in a genre that never existed until they popularized it.
Okay, you want to throw this kind of thing around?
That's
okay,
silly.
A band or bands that kind of started a genre of music, but they weren't the best in it. Look at a band like Pearl Jam. Look at a band like Alice in Chains. They kind of started that grunge movement, but who made it the best? Who made it leaps and bounds better than anybody could have imagined? Nirvana made grunge what it was, but they didn't start it.
I mean, they incorporated more pop into it. Yeah.
Okay, but it's still if we're just gonna generalize a genre.
Fuck, I'll tell you a band that's overrated right now. You tell me right now, I won't tell you that much right now. I want you nothing about it.
What band?
Nirvana.
They're not overrated.
Way vastly overrated.
They're not.
They have one perfect album. They have one album that's kind of fun to listen to, and they have one that's pop.
Okay.
I'll tell you that much right now. I don't want to hear nothing about it.
Step back, baby girl. Okay, this is just silly boy talk, because you gushed, absolutely gushed over that band.
Over In Utero?
That week.
Over In Utero?
But you gushed about the other albums. Maybe not so much Nevermind, but you had mostly positive things about it.
I like Nevermind a lot.
You had a hard time.
It is a good pop album. It is a good pop album.
You had a hard time talking shit on Nevermind. Like I could see that struggle. Because it was a lot of
album, sure.
It was a lot of past discriminations and past, bad thoughts, I guess, that bled into that week.
It belongs up there like the top spots for pop, like Thriller, fucking Millennium by the Backstreet Boys, Nevermind, The Spice World. Like all these are great pop albums. Yes, so, I will agree.
There's a lot of things you're saying right now that you're going to regret.
I regret nothing. I'll tell you that much right now. I don't know anything about it.
Anyway, let's get back into this into this record.
Do you have any stinkers?
I don't have any stinkers, but I have 4 bangers.
Okay.
But they're loose bangers. They're very loose bangers. Because yeah, they're loose.
You're the fucking only person. Like, is Freebird your 1B?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Fuck, you better be. My God.
How can that not be your 1B?
It is my 1B.
Okay, good. It should be.
It's a perfect song.
It's the best song on it. It is a perfect song. Yeah. It's a song that's not, like we talked about, it's not an overly complicated song. Like people think, oh, it's a 4.5 minute guitar solo. It has to be super intricate and this and that, but it's really not. There's a lot of the same shit going on, and they're not doing anything super flashy. It's just they're doing it for a long amount of time, for a long period of time.
That's why they are not overrated, because they never ever said that, and everybody knew that Freebird's guitar solo wasn't crazy good, because you can read articles that were done 10 years ago, 20, 30, 40 years ago, 100 years ago that said Freebird's solos are not as complex as you think they are.
Okay, that's fine.
Half of that was true, but for the most part, there are articles written years ago that says like, oh, Freebird is easy to play. Here's a couple tricks to learn. And like a lot of blues musicians, they have a lot of tricks. They do a lot of tricks. Like blues music inherently is kind of like like Keith Richards fucking made a career of just open tunings and bullshit chords, but they're great.
Overrated guitar player. Yeah.
You're fucking. You're so stupid. God, you're so
Come
stupid.
on, Keith Richards is kind of an overrated guitar player.
Keith Richards is top 5 all time in guitar riffs. If there was a separate category for some of the greatest guitar riffers of all time, Keith Richards is top 5.
Okay, that's fine.
No, you can't he's not like, you can't shred like Jimmy Page. You can't like do crazy things.
He's no Omar. He's no Omar. Let's just say that.
Oh my God. Omar's like, dude, oh.
But seriously, come on, dude.
Why?
Keith Richards, top 5 guitar player.
I didn't say top 5 guitar player. I said top 5
You did say top 5.
Riff at writing riffs.
No, I don't know. I think you said top 5 guitar player.
I said riffs like 3 times. Not just in that one thing, but before that. I said it like 3 times.
Oh yeah, you could say riffs, but what you did say, what you also said is what you also said was top 5 guitarists.
Oh, hold on. Well, no, I said riff from the beginning. And when you edit the pod, you'll realize that you were wrong, and you will text me and say, I'm sorry about that. I am stupid, like you said, and I'm sorry.
You know,
I won't hear anything about it.
Like 80% of the time when I edit the pod, you're wrong.
But that 20% is there, right?
That 20%, you are right.
There
but
we
most
go,
of the time,
so you're saying there's a chance.
You are wrong. Most of the time, you are wrong.
So you're saying there's a chance. This time I am right, though.
Oh boy. Well, you're not, but that's fine. That's okay. Yes, Freebird. So I don't know where else we want to go with this.
Freebird's fucking great. From that opening organ, right? That opening part, everybody knows what the song is. And
I'm a sucker for the organ too.
It is literally one of the greatest rock ballads of all time, because it's a fucking ballad. I consider this a ballad. It's a ballad.
It is. Okay. Oh, it's a total ballad. Yeah.
This is one of the greatest rock ballads of all time. There's a lot going on, and it's not overly complex, but there's a lot of stuff going on. And then I was reading that Gary Rossington said that just because they were goofing off and like drinking and fucking around, because they were playing the song like several years before they actually recorded it. Mm-hmm. And what he did was he shoved a screwdriver into his guitar and then the neck and drove it all the way up to the head, so that way it would lift the strings higher. So when he put the bottle, because the same bottle that the guitarist from the other band that does Southern rock, the same like medicine bottle that he used, he was trying to emulate that sound, because that was like his idol. So he did the same thing, but to get a higher action on his guitar strings, he shoved a screwdriver in there, and you can still see him use stuff like that. And it's just out of a joke at this point, but she'll still shove things under his string and drive it all the way up to the head. And that's fucking cool. That's cool because it just shows people having fun. Tyler, Rebecca Anstead, fuck me in the butthole. God damn.
That's fine. Having fun live is different than recording an album.
Damn, all these fucking things. I'm telling you how he has fun, and you don't. Nothing's fun to you.
And we kind of touched upon it in the rankings episode. We're talking about a lot of stuff that's not really related to Freebird, but the making of this record and really all of their records. And really all of their records is that they were very, very meticulous about how they recorded stuff. They were perfectionists. Everything was written out. There was no improvisation. They hated improvisation.
That's fine. What's wrong with that?
But that's just due to like not. It's just like them not having fun. Like,
how is that
It's
due not them having fun?
I just
Dimebag
don't
Darrell
think
was the same
that's not
way.
fun.
There was no improvisation in their fucking
And their music
sets
was not
and
fun. And their music was not fun, was it?
I think it was fucking
No, it was
riot.
not
I had a
fun.
blast.
It's great music, but it's not fun music.
I think it's fun.
You can have fun partying and playing live, but when it comes to recording and writing, especially recording,
I don't see how the correlation between fun and different writing styles have to do with each other. Just because
I just think it's kind of
because
it's a
somebody's
very
meticulous and not sloppy, I guess. So sloppiness equals fun.
I kind of want the sloppiness, because maybe we could have heard something kind of interesting, like kind of off the cuff, but it was just so planned out and just kind of I don't know.
What?
It was kind of
What?
kind of lame.
Nothing. How is that lame?
Kind of lame.
I do not see the point at all.
That's fine. You will eventually.
I don't see that correlation whatsoever.
All right.
'Cause
So
we heard a
yeah,
lot
like
of we've heard a
what?
lot of sloppy playing from a band that does a lot of that played really badly live for many years because they were fucked up on drugs and didn't give a shit, and they were
Ooh.
fantastic at their instruments and they played bad shows constantly. That was Zeppelin. Jimmy Page was
Oh,
fucked
yeah,
up
yeah.
a lot, and they played
They all
bad
were.
shows, and those
Yeah.
were not fun. And Jimmy Page is not fun. So again, I don't see
Okay,
the
yeah,
correlation
yeah.
there.
How the West Was Won was not a great live record, right? Because that makes sense. The BBC sessions,
It's
yeah,
not
those were
fun.
terrible, right?
How the West was one not fun. The only person having fun there's Bonham. Nobody else is having fun. You kidding me? You joking my ass right now?
We all know I don't joke asses.
Dude, I don't hear nothing about it right now. That's all I gotta say about that. I can't even remember
Right,
the thing I was trying to say.
Freebird. So yeah, you have the organ. It starts out with the organ, the kind of the slide guitar and everything. You have like 4.5. I think I wrote it down here. Yeah. So the intro is really about 4 minutes and 25 seconds, and then it really kind of starts to pick up. The guitar solo by itself is roughly 4 minutes and 23 seconds long. It's a long fucking song, and it is quite the buildup. And they are good at buildups. Not just this song, but there's another song on here that is one of my bangers, where there is a fucking nice buildup, and it's slow. It's a slow buildup, but it's very nice. It's very, very nice. They're good at that kind of stuff. And I feel like if they were a band that were more spontaneous and did improv more, they could have had some amazing buildups and amazing kind of riffing off of one another. But we never saw that happen. But you know, the last record they put out, what is Street Survivors, with what's the guitar player, Steve Gaines?
Steve Gaines.
With his guitar playing, because his guitar playing on that record was fucking awesome. Had they made more,
But he was fucking killer. He was amazing.
he was fucking really good. That record is really awesome. But had they made more records and the accident happened, they made more records with that lineup, I feel like they would have gone in more of a, not, I don't want to say jam band, but in a more relaxed kind of loose way. And I feel like I was saying earlier on the rankings episode, I feel like this band could have been way better than they're known for had they made it maybe 2 or 3 more records after that.
I mean, you only recognize like 3 songs out of their entire discography, which I
I
still
do.
think is fucking
Yeah.
crazy. So to say they're
I really
overrated is still kind of silly when you only recognize them for Freebird, Alabama, Shakes, and what's your name? I can't believe you don't fucking know Tuesday's Gone. Like that's
I don't
how the
know.
fuck do you
I
not know
didn't-
Tuesday's Gone?
Didn't know that. Didn't know Simple Man. I didn't know those.
Yeah, so I think they're not overrated in any way, shape, or form, and it's if anything, Skinner now is known for that band that still is trudging along, putting up the Confederate flag until like last year.
What band?
Skynyrd.
Okay. I thought
Yeah.
okay. You said another band was doing that.
No,
But yeah, they're still doing the Confederate flag thing.
well, they don't do it anymore for sure. It's gone, but they went back and forth for several years in the past, like 5 years of putting it up and taking it down. But it's like, dude, come on, man. First of all, you're too old to be causing controversy. You're like 70. It's just too much. Relax. And second of all, that's just stupid.
And you're also a band that nobody really kind of cares about anymore. Right?
Yeah, because they're not overrated.
Well, they are kind of. Well, actually, I know they are, but
They're
That's
fucking not over. How are they overrated? Nobody
we're not
talks
going to
about
get into.
Skinner.
We're not going to get into this again.
There's only 2 times where people talk about Skinner. One, when people say, play Freebird. And the other time
a
is when
lot.
people, and then the other, no, well, yeah, because it's funny. It's a
No,
joke.
yeah,
No, but
no.
nobody listens to fucking Freebird. Nobody does it. Nobody knows what Freebird is. And the other time is when someone says, play some Skynyrd, just because that is a thing people say, because it's funny. So I guess, yeah, they are overrated because of these outdated quips and tropes that happen at shows.
Yeah, they are.
Silly.
They are.
You're a silly boy right now.
So going back to Freebird, the guitar solo. Let's jump into that real quick, because like I said, it's like almost 4.5 minutes long, and which is a fucking crazy amount of time for a guitar solo where they're just going back and forth. But one cool part that I like a lot is there's a part where all the instruments stop except for the two guitar players, and they're not even playing off of each other. They're just playing each other's parts at the same time. But it's kind of, maybe it's not, I don't know if it's off time a little bit, but you can kind of hear where there's a disconnect there. But it just sounds so cool. And then everything kicks back into the song. I fucking love that part.
Yeah,
It's just them two playing.
That's at like almost a 7-minute mark. That's when everything goes like dun dun, and then you're like and it's sloppy and it's being like meshed together in a way that just kind of, it doesn't sound great, but because we've just experienced like 6 minutes of this, we know it's building to this, and they're scaling upwards, right? So they're going and then like do like a 2-note climb, and then and then it goes back into like the main riff, and that's at the 7-minute mark. We still have another 1.5 minutes of this. And like that is, I mean, according to you, that's not fun, I guess. But to everybody else on the face of this fucking earth, that is extremely fun. That is amazing. That is exciting. That is people having a great time playing music.
No, it's fantastic. I mean, I love that part of the song. It's great. I really do love that.
But it's all building to that. So the entire song itself is fun in a different way. It's not goofy fun like that. That's goofy fun.
And then so after that point, there's also another build up where what's the fucking drummer's name? Bob Burns?
Bob Dole.
Wait, what the fuck is his name? Is it Bob?
I didn't care about the drummer at this part. Except for the drummer, I'm talking about that
Bob,
later on.
Yeah. Later on in the song, Bob Burns, he has that just kind of snare roll. It's just like building, like kind of like jazzy, you know, where he's just consistently hitting that snare and it builds. And then Ed is playing the bass and he's just like ripping it up, like just seriously, like it's like some, I can't even think of another bass, but it kind of reminds me of Day of the Baphomets from Mars Volta. You know, the bass intro of that song. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh God, you're the fucking worst. But the intro to Day of the Baphomets reminds me of it, where he's just like shredding on the bass with his fingers, and it just builds, and then it kind of explodes into like just the continuation of the guitar solo. But there are just so many good buildups in this guitar solo in this last 4.5 minutes of the song. It's fucking amazing. I love Freebird. It is a fucking amazing song.
Mm-hmm.
So as much shit as I've talked on this band, I mean, this song and a few other songs on this record are really, really good. But anyway, what do you have lyrically on this, unless you have anything else musically?
No, that's fine. I like lyrically, the entire album wasn't bad. It was just face value. Yeah,
it was primarily about, fame, either fame or about a girl.
And that's not bad. It's just,
there wasn't anything.
It's just face value. It's different.
Special about it. All right, moving on from Freebird, what's your 2B then? Considering this is our each of our 1Bs. So what do you got for your 2B?
Simple Man, baby.
Really? That was good. I mean, this is more of a ballad.
Honestly,
I'm surprised you like it.
This if it wasn't for Freebird being Freebird, like this would be my 1B.
Really? But why though? You like this kind of slower ballad thing that they do?
Because it's a jam song. This is a jam song. You get lost in the books here, right? You get lost in your books. That's what you're doing.
That doesn't get old, right?
Because you get lost in that really basic melody that just is fucking like 3 chords, dude. The entire thing. It's so basic. It's so elementary.
It is, yeah.
And my God, you get lost in it. You really do, because they do it over and over and over. And it builds slightly, but not much, right? The solo's great. And like I'm really not a ballad man by any stretch of the imagination, or an anthem man like you are. But my God, dude, the verb on that guitar just make for like an epic thing. And where he's not wanking or anything. And then we get some like parts with 2 guitars going at it. And again, they're not showing off. They're not shredding. They're playing to the song. They're playing to the ballad. They're just kind of like jamming. They're just kind of riffing. And I might be a little skewed also, because there's multiple times where, like, while jamming at the neighbor's house, we dropped into Simple Man. And I was like, wow, this is a fucking cool thing that we're doing here. And we all know it. We all know the melody. We all know where to go. We all can take our turn if we want to. Or you can step back and play rhythm. We can each like switch off instruments. Like I play drums sometimes. I'll play bass sometimes. And we can all like have a little fun with it. I think Simple Man, just not even in the title, like simple itself, but like that's like that, like this song is in essence of why we should be playing music live, like together, not just like me, neighbors, just anybody on earth. Like this is why you should play music, is just to get into this little groove. If you play those same fucking 3 chords for 2 hours, like how long have we been playing our fucking songs, right? But my God, I fucking love those songs. I really do. I don't care. I fucking love those songs. I think they're amazing, and I'll play them until I can't play anymore. And like that's what this song. Maybe I'm getting a little emotional about this song more than I maybe should, because it is superficially kind of dumb. But like honestly, this song is that. This song is like an ode to like childhood jamming with friends, and it just so happens to be they're like in their early 20s here.
That's a good way of viewing it, because when you put it that way, it changes my perspective a little bit, because the song doesn't really do anything outrageous. It is, I guess, yeah, it is more jammy. The chorus itself doesn't really, I mean, honestly, it adds nothing to the song. I feel like the chorus is just there as a placeholder, just to kind of have everybody just get louder and let out a little bit of energy. And then the bridge or the solo, really. The solo is where, you know, the one guy gets to kind of just rip it up a little bit, but then everybody kind of like trudges along. They're just kind of, you know, they're stuck in that groove. So I like that. I like that comparison. I like that. I like it a lot.
And like, dude, Ronnie slays the chorus though. He slays that melody, that Simple Man.
Really, you think so?
Because it's not.
I thought it was just so average.
He's the guy, because he's the singer. He's like fuck a singer, right? Like if a band is really that good, and these guys are all good. Again, they're not historic, but they're at least good to great.
Yeah, band, none of them are bad by any means.
If a band can survive without the singer, then the singer better bring the heat, and he doesn't. He just says like, I'm a simple man, but kind of like drags it on a little bit, but it's just good enough to where everyone's like, yeah, Ronnie, that was pretty good. Good job. And they go back into their thing, because he's part of the team, man. He's a homie. Who cares? Like, they're just fucking around. A bunch of kids goofing off.
It's true. I mean, they were very young when they put this record out. And they got signed and put this record out.
And like I've jammed with people that are vastly underskilled than me. Actually, fucking case in point is neighbor Ronnie, friend of the pod, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Jamming with her in the beginning was more difficult than it is now. And my God, she has just grown like exponentially at the drums. She's fantastic. But like when you don't jam a lot and you jam with somebody that never really jammed with anybody, it's kind of like, all right, just let them do their thing. And then there are times where we're just like, okay, let Ronnie do her thing. Let her play whatever she wants. We'll work around it. And I think Skynyrd worked around Ronnie. Van Zandt here. I think Skynyrd worked around Ronnie.
Yeah.
Because Ronnie does have some solid harms. And that Simple Man, it's not a bad harm. I think he slays it, because like that's his job. His job is I think everybody expects mediocrity, and when he does something a little bit better, it's great.
Okay. I really honestly feel he is he's for sure the weakest part of this band.
Yeah.
I think even you would agree with me on that.
Absolutely. He's the weakest part of the band.
Okay.
He's the only member of this band that I would think is not good.
Yeah.
I think every person in this band is fucking good to great.
I think everybody is good in this band. I wouldn't. Maybe, okay, I take it back. Ed King and Steve Gaines, even though Steve Gaines didn't play on this record, they are the two best members of this band, of this era, of the 70s
Yes,
era.
I would agree with that
without
for
a
sure.
doubt. Only because, I mean, after this record, because Ed moved to guitar after this record. So I don't really remember anything significant with his guitar playing, but his bass playing on this record, to me, was the highlight of the entire record. His bass playing was fucking amazing. It was really, really good. And on top of that, Bob Burns, the drummer, on this record, he had a very Bill Ward from Black Sabbath style of playing, where he had this very big, bombastic sound to his playing, and it was almost like primitive sounding, like Bill does, but it still held the groove in and locked in the groove so well. And I feel like the rhythm section on this record was super solid because of Ed and Bob. But God, talk about boring fucking names.
Ed and Bob.
Ed and Bob, dude.
These are Southern folk, right? They all have fucking boring
They're
ass
from
names.
fucking Florida.
Yeah.
They're not from like Alabama or Mississippi or Georgia.
That's still Southern United States.
It technically
still
is
the
still
South.
Southern, yeah. Well, so is where we're at. Technically, we're still from the South. You and I.
Nobody calls Arizona, California
Technically,
the South.
it's still the South.
The South
People don't really
is-
consider Florida the South.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Yes, they
Bullshit.
fucking
No,
do. Yes, they
not
do.
really. Not really. Not really.
Not really, but
it's
they
more
do.
like
yeah.
it's more okay. The South in the United States is more like Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas. That's it. People don't consider Texas,
no.
New Mexico, fucking Arizona.
What do you mean silly right now for?
It's true though. It's true.
No.
We're
I mean,
all
you're
like
right.
on the
You're
same
right.
level.
Like Alabama and Georgia, like those are definitive. Those states are 100% South.
Mississippi, that's fine too.
I would
Arkansas,
even
but that's fine
well
too.
Mississippi. Then you kind of bleed over
Louisiana,
to the
that's
Bayou
too.
area if you want to get
Louisiana,
like
we forgot
specific.
Louisiana.
Well,
Yeah.
Mississippi's before Louisiana. If we're going from right to left,
Okay,
so
but
that's fine.
I'm just naming.
But like
the
that's more of a
southern states,
Bayou
but it's fine.
thing, right? Because now we're getting into
Okay,
Credence territory. But if you want to do like a sound, even though Creedence not from there, but if you want to do like a sound, the South definitely extends into the Panhandle part of Florida. There, I tried to do my Panhandle Florida from the office, but I couldn't do it.
I know you did. Terrible. Anyway,
Best part of the office.
yes, I know, but it should be part of Dudesy. Everything we talk about and reference on this podcast should be about Dudesy.
That's fair.
Oh, speaking of Dudesy, I went to the liquor store today to get the beer, and on the way out, I noticed there was a giant poster of The Rock and his tequila Terramana, and I didn't say it out. I almost said it out loud. I almost
How
went,
could you not say it?
Because I would have just felt so stupid.
Oh my god! But the off chance that somebody heard you and then also repeated back, Tremana.
I swear,
would-
I will. I mean, I honestly, if I ever hear or see that Terramana, I'm gonna go Tremana to see if anybody catches the reference.
Nobody's gonna catch it.
nobody listens to Dudesy. Hard
They
seltzer.
They should.
All right, simple man, simple creatures.
And honestly, like the instrumentals here don't do much.
No,
But that's interesting you said, because I mean I noticed that also. But when we're giving our rankings, besides this album, we never like really said the bass was like phenomenal or anything like that. And that's not saying that King, was it Ed King? Sid King?
Oh yeah, Ed King. Yeah,
Kerry
yeah.
King? Yeah,
Kerry King. Yes.
that's not to say that Kerry King's a bad, or Kerry King's a bad guitarist. That just shows like how good of a bass player he was, that after he switched to guitar, we never got like a real fucking punchy walking bass line that also just kind of played to the songs.
Yeah, you're right. And he kind of riffed a little bit too on the bass. I mean, but it was never to the point of excess to where you could tell like, okay, this guy should be playing guitar. It was like, okay, so Simple Man is a great example of that. This is a song where it is very stripped down rhythmically, or in the rhythm section, but there's enough flair in there. There's enough little nuances here and there that really show his abilities as a bass player. Like he knows when to scale it back for a song, and he also knows when to kind of rip it up when it needs to be ripped up. The guy is a good musician. Like Ed King is a great musician. It's just he tends to be a better bass player than a guitar player.
And that just stems from the lack of a great bass player after he switched. I think if there was a better bass player that came in and could like write great bass lines to supplement his, because he's a fantastic guitar player, to supplement his fantastic guitar playing, I think maybe this discussion would be a little bit different. But they didn't get a better bass player. They got a worse bass player, or a more bad bass player.
They essentially brought back their old bass player. I mean, he was in the band originally, and then he quit the band right before the recording of this record. Ed King came in, played the bass on this record, and then right before they started taking the promo pictures for this album, Wilkeson came back as the bass player. Ed moved to as a third guitar player, and then that was essentially almost the lineup up through the plane crash in '77.
And Simple Man is the type of song that you like to jam on the bass with, at least for me, because I know how to riff decent on it. So like those do do do. You can scale up, you can scale down. Like I can do those things. Like I know how to do those. They sound nice. They flow with the song, and it's there's enough flair there to where I feel like I'm playing the bass. I'm slapping the bass like a pro, like friend of the pod Skip. But then you hand the bass, because like I said, we've jammed to this song before. Mm-hmm. But then I hand the bass over to like friend of the pod, my neighbor Phil. He's like, oh yeah, like you were doing good. Like check out what you could also do, and then he'll do like an octave higher. And then just do like inverted notes. And like, holy fuck. That's so cool.
Well, Phil's a really good bass player too.
Fantastic bass player.
Yeah, he's a fucking killer bass player.
That's what Simple Man is, man. Simple Man is just a good jam. So it's a good learning song. And I think that's what it is. I don't think it should be taken as anything more than just like these guys are still kind of like working out how to play with each other. They've been playing with each other for a couple years now. But like it's their first album. They got a big time producer. They've signed with a major label. Things are changing. They're getting more money. They're getting fronted money. I think Simple Man is just a way for them to kind of get back to where they started, and that was just jamming.
All right, that's fair. And kind of bringing it back to that guitar solo, that bridge, they really kind of change it up rhythmically. Well, not rhythmically necessarily, but song-wise, or just kind of what they're playing during that bridge, because at that point everything just sounds like dum da dum dum. It's very kind of like they're kind of trudging along through the mud while the guitar is kind of soloing over it, and then they kind of seamlessly transition back into the main chorus and everything like that. But that bridge was very nicely placed, and it just sounded really good, and it matched up so well with the guitar playing, the guitar solos. But I mean, this is a good song. It's not a banger for me, but it's a really good song. So, what do you got lyrically on this one?
That's fine. It was supposed to be about like his grandmother or somebody imparting wisdom onto him about just being a simple man. Just fucking try to be a good dude.
Be a good person. Don't screw other people over.
Yeah, that's very one dimensional, but that's a good message. You don't hear a lot of one dimensional lyrics being written about something like that.
True.
Like, just don't be an asshole.
Yeah, just be a good person.
And for the most part, like they kind of were, even in like extracurriculars and partying and shit. They were never a couple spats here and there, but like they were never like really really bad dudes.
Yeah, everything I read. I mean, I know they fought amongst themselves, but they weren't. It never really seemed like they were overtly violent or just kind of. I mean, they trashed hotel rooms and things here and there, and they threw shit out windows.
They only did it a couple times because they got charged like $30,000 for trashing a room. And he was like,
who hasn't done that?
Yeah, but then Ronnie realized, like, he says, "Fuck this," because this was something that Garrett Geary also said about Ronnie. He said after we got charged at $30,000, we all had to chip in for it. And after that, he said we never fucking did it again because we worked too goddamn hard for this money to throw it away like that.
Yeah, they're not like Motley Crue or Keith Moon from the Who or anything like that.
No.
Where they had millions to just fucking waste away.
No. Do you want to get into the plane crash now? What do you want to talk about?
I mean, we can get into more bangers. I mean, how much do you want to touch upon the plane crash? Because I mean, the crash happened 4 or 5 years after this record came out.
Yeah, like they released a lot of music in between their debut and the plane crash. So,
I mean, I feel like we should touch upon the plane crash, but the plane crash to me it should be more as like a supplemental thing, unless we like really had nothing to talk about on this record. But it seems
only
like we're
one
pretty.
thing I want to talk about, and that's
Yeah.
like you hear a plane crash, you hear people survived a plane crash. Oh, cool, they survived, right? You don't think anything about it. At least I just never really thought about like, yeah, they survived. Oh, great, great, great. But like they got fucked up.
Yes.
Bad.
Yes.
And that I guess I just never thought about it. I never thought about how badly you need to be to survive a plane crash, right? Like you don't just fucking walk away. These guys like one of the dudes lost all of his teeth. They all got knocked out. Fucking broke legs, wrists, ribs, fucking backs, cracked skull. Like they got fucked up. And
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, right? Obviously, they're in a fucking plane crash, obviously, but you don't think about that.
Yeah, you
think
don't
about the
really think
dead?
about the survivors. You think about the people who died in the crash.
But my God, dude, they got fucked up.
Yeah,
Like,
what is? I think
so bad.
what is? I think it's Billy Powell. I'm just double checking really quick, but Billy Powell, the keyboardist. I think he got. Oh yeah, so in the plane crash, he suffered major lacerations to his face. He almost lost his entire nose, but
Yeah,
he
like
was
almost tore
otherwise.
off.
Yeah, but he was otherwise relatively uninjured. And he was the first member of the band to be released from the hospital, and he was the only member of the band to go to everybody else's funeral. After losing almost losing his nose and having crazy fucking lacerations on his face. That's fucking
dude,
crazy.
And like one of the fucking guys got like a big cut on his arm, and then because they crashed in the swamp, it got like infected, and they almost had to amputate it. And they like all these guys have plates in them, like metal plates in various parts of their bodies because of this thing, and like lasting impacts of not just physical wear, but now they're on pain medications. And I mean, you know, this is the fucking 70s going into the 80s. Like, who cares? Take as much medication as you want. You're gonna get addicted. It's gonna fucking happen. You're gonna get addicted.
Well, even prior to the last record, the Street Survivors, I forgot which members. There was two members who were got in like major car accidents to the point where they couldn't even really record music because they got so fucked up in the car accidents. And then a year later, they get in the plane crash. There's a lot of unfortunate things that happen to the members of this band before and after. I mean, what's his name? Alan Collins, the guitarist.
Yeah.
This guy survives the plane crash, gets addicted to the pills and booze. I think it's in 1987 or 1986. He takes his brand new car out with his girlfriend, gets in a major car accident. She dies in the car accident. He's paralyzed from the chest down, can barely move his arms and hands at this point. He ends up dying in the late, like 89 or 90. He dies of pneumonia related to, his paralysis. It's just like, dude.
That guy I
insane.
felt bad for, because the reason why he was even in that car with his girlfriend, because his wife had fucking died in like some kind of weird miscarriage or something happened to his wife and she fucking dies. So he gets into this tailspin of addiction because, half your fucking band members just died in a plane crash 10 years ago. Now your wife dies. And now you're addicted to pills. So he's all fucked up on pills, driving, kills his girlfriend. And part of his plea bargain is that he can still tour with Skynyrd, but he has to give like this motivational speech beforehand about the dangers of driving under the influence.
Yeah.
And can never play the guitar again, really.
He can't even walk. He literally has to go out in a wheelchair. Like,
my God.
Yeah. And then what's his name? Bob Burns, the guy who played on the first record, the drummer. He didn't play on Street Survivor, and he wasn't in the plane crash, but he died in 2015. But he died in a car accident. The guy was 64 years old, so really not that old. 64 years old, dies in a car accident in 2015, like I said, because he hit a mailbox and then a tree because he was taking a turn too fast on some street, and he fucking hit a tree and died. It's like what the fuck? This band is like cursed.
Yeah.
It kind of is, right? The plane crash, all these car accidents before and after, the addictions, which, addiction is a big thing with a lot of bands, but you add that on top of all these kind of like almost freak accidents. It's bizarre. Very bizarre.
It's sad. It's sad, and I mean, like everybody, only one person is alive in the original OG lineup,
Gary
and even he
Rossington.
has had a slew of like substance abuse issues, surgeries, depression issues, and it's just fuck, man. This band is like, I don't know, cursed or something.
Yeah, seriously. I really think so. But
Like Final Destination stuff, right? Like you avoided the plane crash, now death is constantly after you.
Yeah, it kind of seems that way. Sad. It's fucking sad. But it's kind of weird too. Like, yeah, the band split after the plane crash. They split in 1977, and then 10 years later they did that reunion show in 87, and then I think a year after that they essentially reformed the band with Jerry. I think it was Jerry Van Zandt.
Johnny Van Zandt. This is
or Johnny Van Zandt. No, it was his little brother.
Oh yeah, his little brother.
Ronnie's little brother.
Boy.
Yeah, and he became the lead singer, and it was a pretty much most of the OG lineup who rejoined, but then they put out records up until like maybe 2017 or 2018 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you want to go see Skynyrd when it's such like a fractured lineup of the band and there's been so much tragedy? Why would you want to go see them, and then why would the band continue on? It just seems like, I don't want to say a cash grab, but
I mean,
like, what's the point?
They like playing music, and that's fine. But I think most people don't realize or don't understand or don't care or don't know or don't whatever. But like the band, like Gary Rossington, right? He's a guy that wrote like most of the riffs anyway. But as far as the tragedy goes, everybody knows about the plane crash. But most people don't think about how it affected the survivors, how it affected the bandmates after, who weren't even on the plane or who weren't even in the band at the time. Yeah, that's just something you don't think about. You just, the singer's dead, and the new guitar player's dead, and the backup singer's dead, but you still have like the bass player and the drummer, and
you essentially have a little over half of the band left. Yeah, that survived the crash,
and not
but
like
still,
to put it in a morbidly way, but like you kind of have like the better of the half of the band still alive doing stuff.
Technically, yes.
So,
but
and you got one of the Van Zants, right?
One of the Van Zants that was never part of the OG band, but that's okay. Yeah. It's okay, I guess.
It's okay.
But yeah, at this point in time, Gary Rossington is the only OG member of the band. He's the only survivor of that's still alive from the original lineup of the band, the guitarist. But anyway, I don't know.
Anyway.
Let's get back into the record. Record. So what do you got for?
What's your 2B?
My 2B is fucking shit. Where is it? Oh, it's Mississippi Kid. Kid.
That's a good one.
So Mississippi Kid, this one it's like a straight up kind of Delta blues style song with the pacing. They don't play the guitar really on this. The driving force behind the song is a mandolin. At least it sounds like a mandolin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the mandolin.
That's Al Cooper.
Wait, Al Cooper plays the mandolin on this one?
Yeah, that's Al Cooper. That's why John Feldman does it, because he saw Al Cooper insert himself into the projects of the bands he was producing. Yeah, Al Cooper plays the mandolin here.
Okay, I didn't realize he played the mandolin on this one, but yeah, that's really the driving force behind this song. The guitar kind of accents everything else. Like, you hear some slide guitar, which is a nice touch to it all. The clean guitar tone on this one is solid. But that's primarily during the solos. But that mandolin part, it's so good. The strumming pattern into that like very simple and basic scale is just it's money. It's fucking awesome. It's so good.
This is a killer song. This is my 4B.
Yeah.
4B.
And not only that, the bass playing is just, it's so perfectly placed and played just to accompany everything else. But Ed never takes center stage. Like, once again, another example of like a killer fucking bass performance on this record. Well,
hold on there, dude.
It is true.
Hold on
it
there,
is
dude.
true there, dude.
Hold on there, dude. That's Al Cooper on the bass also.
Are you fucking serious? What the fuck is wrong with me?
I mean, don't forget, Al Cooper's a ridiculous good musician. Hold on there, dude. Hold on a second there, dude. He's a fantastic. I know he's a fantastic musician. I don't know why I didn't do it. Why the fuck do I care? This dates back to when I brought up the super session with Stephen Stills and Bloomfield, where Al Cooper put on this thing, and he invited Mike Bloomfield to come jam with him, and Bloomfield left halfway through the session. He's like, "Oh, I guess I'll call up my other fucking virtuoso guitar friend, Stephen Stills, to come jam with me." And so you have two sides of this record, and that's a stupid fucking good record. But Al Cooper's just like a genius, which is weird because his other band, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, a Woodstock band, fucking boring. Chud.
Yeah,
That is
I
chud.
know. It is chud, yeah.
It's fucking chud. But yeah, he plays bass and he plays the mandolin on this song.
Why I did not realize he played both of those. Fuck. Damn, that makes me respect the band a little bit less, but that's fine.
Why?
I don't know. It's just I thought it might have been one of the cool guys in the band that played.
This is the time in music where just everyone's just happy to jam together. They're all probably smoking their dudes.
But they don't jam though. That's the thing. They don't jam on this record. It's
not
all,
on record.
All,
but you don't know they're not jamming like behind the scenes, hanging out, doing stuffs.
But seriously, dude, the mandolin,
dude.
It's just, dude. Well, it's I mean, the mandolin is always going to have that clean sound because it's an acoustic instrument, but man, it comes through, it cuts through the mix so crisp, and it's it's so
the
clean.
guy that played it's the producer,
so
of course, is going to come through the mix.
What? But okay, I'm sorry.
He do what the fuck he wants.
What I mean is like how it's played is just so perfect. Like you don't hear like any sort of, you don't really hear any mistakes. It just sounds so pristine and just perfect, and it just sounds awesome.
I love this song. This is one of those songs when you realize, like, dude, these guys listen to a lot of blues music. Like, these guys fucking know. You could tell because this is a Delta blues song just done in 1973.
Yeah,
well, that's what this song is.
The way Ronnie sings on this song is very kind of Muddy Waters.
Oh, it's so lazy.
Sun House. It has that kind of I don't want to say laziness, but
it's
that
fucking
kind of
lazy
drawl. Not drawl. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but
a lot of these Delta blues musicians just had lazy delivery. It wasn't about how they said it. It's what they were saying and then how they were playing their guitar and the fact that they're the first ones to do it. But it was lazy.
It was fucking good though. And lyrically on this one though, I mean, like most songs, they're kind of taking a face value, but this is about going down to Mississippi, whooping everyone's ass who gets in his way when he's trying to get back to his girl. And I guess he would always tell people like he felt like Ronnie felt like he was from the South, even though he's from Florida, but he felt like he was from this part of the South, and he just always kind of related more to that than anything else, which I thought was cool. I don't know. Do we have anything else on Mississippi Kid?
No, Mississippi Mud.
Mississippi Mud, okay. Wait, that's a beer, right?
Yeah.
Fuck, I haven't had that in...
Comes in the jug.
Yeah, that...
Shit.
Yeah, it's not a good beer, but...
No, it comes in a jug.
Yeah, it comes in a giant jug. What? I don't remember what it is. Like, it's like some sort of stout, right?
I think it's a brown ale.
Yeah, it's not that good. That was popular for a while.
But I'm going to buy one for next week.
God, did they even sell it? I haven't seen it in years.
They have to sell it. That's something that like when you're first getting into beer or when you're there and like, oh, I haven't had that in a while. That's something everybody buys because it takes so much shelf space.
Yeah.
And it's just so stupid.
I know. It's like in like a mini growler.
It's in like a moonshine jug. That's what it is. I guess that's what you mean.
That's what it is.
Better descriptor.
Damn, dude. Yeah, I haven't had that since I think probably like 15 years. Wow. Like when we first started drinking.
Wow.
So. All right, so let's move on here. Or do you have anything else on Mississippi Kid? Sorry.
No, that's it. That's all.
So what is your 3B?
Give me 3 steps.
Give me 3 steps. Okay, let's get into that.
I do want to say that like Tuesday's Gone and Give Me Three Steps, these guys have a tone. They have a tone, and that tone is iconic to Lynyrd Skynyrd, and that tone is also sharedly iconic to Southern rock, and that's their fucking tone. It's a little bit kind of like dumb. I can't even really put it into words how I'm trying to articulate the tone, but the tone is Southern rock, but like B Team Southern rock. Like when you listen to the other band that does Southern rock the best, their tone is clean because they're so great at their instruments. And when I say great, their singers I don't think is great like at all. I don't like the singer of that band, but everybody else is great at their instruments at minimum. But they don't have like a specific tone. They have a sound, whereas like Skynyrd has a tone. Their guitar tones are very warm. They're very kind of hot, but also a little bit dirty, a little bit sloppy, but that's by design. So like Tuesday's Gone, you can for sure hear the tone. But give me three steps. The tone's there. I think it's iconic. I love it. And this is a cool fucking like bar fighting song, man. I mean, fuck me if that riff pattern isn't catchy. Come on. And the little woos to drop into the actual song. Woo! Like, we got Ric Flair going over here? Come on. Fuck out of here.
The Nature Boy? You got the Nature Boy over here?
Yeah. Jesus.
Honestly, I felt like this was like a pretty typical blues rock song. Really, the only thing that stood out to me was the bass playing.
Not having any fucking fun here. Man, the bass has just so much fun with this one. He's just all over the place.
He shows off quite a bit, but it still holds everything together. It's not flashy enough to distract you from everything else. I mean, honestly, that's really the best part of the song. The main guitar riff is kind of underwhelming, but it's fine. I mean, everything else makes up for that.
Catchy riff.
You think so?
You probably can even do it right now. If you thought in your mind where you think you could probably recall that riff.
I can't. I cannot. I really can't.
You're lying. Yeah, you're lying. That's fine though. We can lie in the pod. I'll start lying.
I did like how it in the chorus
Fighters.
though, the song itself double times, so it gives it a little bit more energy. Because overall, the song kind of like it's fine. You know, it's not bad, but it just kind of goes with the flow. There's nothing really too exciting, but the double time is really good. It adds a lot more to the overall feel of it. But
I will say too. Fritz, that's two. I will say also that Tuesday's Gone and Give Me Three Steps, I really notice a difference on Spotify and then my vinyls. Because I do have a 70s copy of the vinyls, yeah. And it's all in the bass. The bass is just, like Tuesday's Gone for sure. I thought it had weird tone issues. Like that intro hi-hat was so fucking loud in Tuesday's Gone. And then overall, the cymbals and the drums in Tuesday's Gone, way too fucking loud. And then Give Me Three Steps, I thought the bass was incredibly weak on the Spotify version. On my vinyls, it sounded fucking phenomenal. It's noticeable. It's vibrant. It's beefed up. But in the Spotify version, it sounds like to make up for that lack of bass, they just added electronic components to the bass to make it louder. And so you can kind of like tell it's like an electronic. It's like half electronic bass, half like actual bass. I did notice like the difference between the two.
Because I really thought the bass playing really stood out, but maybe it's artificial. I don't know.
I mean, it's the same. It's the same bass parts, right? It's just one, and for the most part, they're kind of at the same volume as far as like the mix goes. It's just in the vinyl version, it sounds like a guy playing the bass guitar, and then when you compare it to the Spotify version, it sounds like a guy playing the bass guitar, but they just added some electronic tones to it to make it louder, to make it more vibrant, I guess. And again, this is just coming from me. I could be full of shit. I have no idea. But I did listen to both versions. And maybe it's a little also, audiophile cuck. I don't know. But also
you went into this not having any expectations of the vinyl sounding different. You know? But you still noticed a difference, but you didn't go into it thinking that way.
Yeah, as far as Skynyrd
so that
is
does
concerned,
say something.
I have never listened to these albums in their entirety with an ear for listening to them in their entirety outside of the vinyls.
Okay.
This week today, because I listened to this album today on Spotify for the first time. This past week, I've been listening to it on the vinyl because I have the vinyl. Why not listen to it? So today was the first time that I listened to it. It's like, this just doesn't sound right. This sounds weird. And so then yeah.
Well, we haven't played a song for a while, so let's play a little bit of "Give Me 3 Steps," and then we'll get into some more of the music and then also the lyrics. So here it is: "Give Me 3 Steps" from the Lynyrd Skynyrds. "Give Me 3 Steps" from the Lynyrd Skynyrds. Yeah, that was good. Oh boy. So did you feel like, or at least how I felt about this song, the vocal melody and the choruses were very, very modern country sounding, and that kind of annoyed me. Like modern pop country.
It annoys you because like pop country took something that could have been cool and made it fucking terrible?
Yes.
That's why it annoyed you? I agree.
Yes, that did annoy me. But I mean, I agree with you on a lot of the parts on the song. The solos were a little weak though, right?
Like they're fine. They're kind of like just jamming along to the bass, really.
Yeah,
they're fine.
It was really like the rhythm section that and the bass playing especially that killed it.
So like at the end of the riff patterns, you get that little scale that do 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 do, and so when you're doing something like that, that sounds cool, and to anybody that doesn't play any instruments whatsoever, like those little flares are like fun to listen to because they add a little nuance to the song. But when the bass player is doing the same thing just better than the guitar, like then you got a problem, because that just shouldn't happen in a band that's like this with 3 guitars at some point.
I wouldn't say that it should be a problem because some bands bass players are better than the guitar players, like early AFI, one example.
Oh my god, that's because the guitar is like not like good. They're decent punk guitars.
I know.
I thought you were gonna say like Primus or something. I thought that was like that's who I would have reached for. I guess.
I was actually gonna go for Rush, but then I'm like, okay, what's something that's gonna irritate Jeff? So I said AFI. I guess Rush probably would have irritated you too, but
yeah, that's irritating.
But anyway.
I would have said Blink, but that's fine.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, get under my skin, huh? Even though we just recorded. Never mind. I won't spoil it. What's your name, little girl? What's your name? Dude, that song is so fucking good. I cannot believe I didn't know that was a Skynyrd song.
Oh, it's so funny.
That's a good song, though, right?
I love that song. It's fantastic.
I think that when it comes to their popular songs, that is by far their best song.
More than Leaps and Freebird?
More than Freebird, more than Sweet Home Alabama.
Okay, just stop. It's not better than Freebird.
I don't give a fuck. You're just...
Well, you should, because what you're saying is dumb, so... Like, you shouldn't really, like, always care what people think about you, but you should care a little bit about what people think about you. And people think you're dumb right now.
I meant how catchy it was. I didn't mean it as an overall song, because obviously Freebird is a better song. I just meant as like overall catchiness and just I guess just melody and how catchy it is. It is better than both of those songs.
Well, okay.
It's true though.
All right.
That's silly boy talk. Get the fuck out of here. So what do you have lyrically on "Give Me 3 Steps"?
I mean, this is the only song that he had that he actually like told a story, whether or not it was real or anything. But this was about him hitting on someone else's girlfriend and then getting a gun pulled on him. Mm-hmm. Right?
Well, apparently it was real. It was confirmed by
Gary?
Was it Gary? Might have been Gary. Maybe Ed. But it was one of the other guys. They confirmed it that Ronnie was dancing with another girl, and then some dude, her boyfriend came up and threatened him. He's like, okay, I'm just trying to have a good time. I'm not trying to fight with you. I don't care about her at all. I'll just take off. So he fucking left the bar. All right. So do we have anything else on Give Me 3 Steps?
Give me 3 steps. No.
Okay.
That's good.
I mean, do you want to talk about any of these other songs?
It's fine. How the fuck have you not heard Tuesday's Gone? I just want to go over how you've never heard Tuesday's Gone until this week. Do you have so much buildup in your stupid fucking ears that you just
I can't retain when I was listening through the album, the only song I recognized was Freebird. And then after you said you don't recognize Tuesday's Gone, and then I saw that Simple Man was a big hit too. And re-listening to those, I still could not make that connection. I don't recall ever hearing either of those songs. Yeah, I don't. But Tuesday's Gone is my 4B. This is the song I mentioned earlier that has, I feel, a fucking great build-up. But it doesn't really go anywhere. Kind of like a Tool song doesn't really go anywhere, but that's okay. In this instance, it's just one song. It's not their entire career. It's just a really good build-up song, and I really like that. It's 7.5 minutes long, but it's a solid song with some good solos. There are moments where Ronnie kind of sounds like John Fogerty vocally, and I thought that was kind of I don't know if that was intentional, but it was kind of cool. But and the drums also reminded me a lot of Bill Ward from Black Sabbath, which I know I talked about earlier in the episode, but in this song in particular, the way he plays the drums reminds me a lot of like how Bill plays the drums on War Pigs. Just kind of very just loud and just kind of machine like, but not like a metronome machine, but just kind of like just dirty sounding and fucking loud, really, in the end.
Okay.
But it's good.
Okay.
It's a good song.
Okay.
It's a good song.
I love this song. It's my 5B. It's amazing. Love it.
Yeah, it's really good. I don't remember.
I think it's great. It's fine. I think it's an appropriate length. It's allowed to play out properly. It doesn't focus so much on like building as it does just kind of getting lost in it, getting lost in their books. That's what's happening right now. They're getting lost in their books.
Still a great joke. Continue.
That's One day we'll tell it to everybody. I wasn't even there for it. I still fucking love it so goddamn much.
I know you do.
Yeah, they're getting lost in their books here, and that's what's great about it. And it's just, and yeah, you're right. Like their influences aren't just the other band that does Southern rock the best, but their influences are Creedence, right? Geary has said in interviews that they were influenced by Creedence, and Creedence dropped their first album like 68, 69. But Johnny Winter, like fucking, who I think is not technically like the best in like the Texas blues rock guitar realm. I think Stevie Ray Vaughan's the best of all time. But
wow,
okay. I think Johnny Winter has exponentially more heart and soul than Stevie Ray Vaughan does for sure when playing guitar. And they were influenced by Johnny Winter. And Johnny Winter's a stupid fucking good guitarist that I've never even listened to until we started collecting the vinyls.
I've actually never heard you praise Stevie Ray Vaughan like that.
He's technically like when I say technically, I don't mean that as like a verb. Technically, he's the best one because he did this for like as like an adjective. Technically speaking, maybe that was completely the opposite. But like technically speaking, he is like the greatest. He's fucking so goddamn good. He's like the Yngwie Malmsteen of like blues rock. He's so fucking good. But I purged his double trouble weather.
Really?
I don't think there's no soul to it. It's like it's like Yngwie Malmsteen. Like I don't give a fuck. Who cares? I would rather listen to a guy that's not as good do these songs haphazardly, but like put way more effort into them, like Skynyrd does. Skynyrd, none of these guys are anywhere near Stevie Ray Vaughan, but I feel like they put more into it. Whereas Stevie Ray Vaughan, whenever he makes music, I feel like it's so natural to him that it's just like, okay, this guy's just winking. That's fun.
It's true. Like Stevie Ray Vaughan was so good. Like it seemed like he never, like he played with the passion, but it seemed like he never struggled.
Yeah, need a struggle. There you go.
Like he felt it. Right? He felt what he was playing, but it was never out of his abilities. So, fucking Stevie Ray Vaughan, man.
Like when somebody's God tier, you know what I mean? Like you don't.
Yeah. You
can't connect with somebody in God tier. Unlike the guitarist from the other band that does Southern rock perfectly, like he is God tier. Yes, I think he's a better musician than Stevie Ray Vaughan, but he dumbed it down. He could get down to the layman and say, here's what I am doing, live stuff. here's what I am doing. Here's how I'm going to grow to the next part. And you can listen to like Live at the Fillmore East. You can hear him get better. Like Whipping Post, for instance, fucking like 15, 16-minute song. You can hear him get better and better. He's putting solos in the beginning, and he's coming back to those same solos at the end, but adding to them and kind of like giving you this introduction on what it's like to be a great guitarist.
Let's move on. Do we want to talk about anything else? We've talked about over half of the songs now,
yeah,
right?
no, all the big talking points I think I'm good with.
Yeah, we talked about 5 of the 8 songs, so we've talked about over half.
Yeah.
So let's wrap it up. Let's give our final thoughts on this record, and then we will rate the record according to our world famous 3-point rating system, where 3 is a perfect album, 2 is a good album you're going to continue to listen to, 1 is a bad album but give it a shot, and 0 is the worst thing you've ever heard. So what are your final thoughts and your rating of this Lynyrd Skynyrd record, their debut record? What do you got? Go.
It's always fun to get into like blues music, because blues music is inherently the same. It's inherently one-dimensional. It's basic, but it's so foundational to all like music, unless you want to get into like earlier like folklore and Celtic poems and shit or whatever. But like blues music is so like everything's built around it. And I was just talking to somebody at the bar the other day who went on a road trip to some fucking state that I don't care about on the East Coast. And they were just surprised in how long it took them to get there. I was like, yeah, dude, our country's fucking huge. Like it is insanely big. It is so much bigger than you could ever think, because if you don't leave your little bubble, if you don't leave your state, even if you fly on a plane, like you close your eyes, you take a nap, you put your earphones in, unless you drive somewhere far, you really don't get a good grasp of how big our country is. Yeah. And so when you hear, and like we argue all the fucking time about like blues music because it's fun, but like we have the underlying same, we feel the same way about it. We like to argue the nuance because it's entertaining for us and anybody else who likes to hear people argue. But like because our country is so big, when we say like this isn't Southern rock, this is fucking Texas, this is Chicago era, this is there's like all of these different blues things all came out of the same spot. But because our country's so big, they grew, right? People migrated north to get out of the harsh Jim Crow laws. They went to Chicago, and that's where we get like Muddy Waters and other Chicago blues. And then there's like Florida. Yes, okay, it's not technically what we consider to be specific to that Southern sound, but it's still close enough there to where it bleeds into it. And like CCR, like they threw a fucking wrench into everything because they're not even anywhere near it. But they did it better than most bands that were from there.
I know, right?
So it's just so fucking weird, like how diverse this one tiny, itty bitty little like minuscule genre can be. And like that's what I just love about blues music is how much of it is out there, how it all kind of sounds the same. But if you really want to argue about it, we can argue for fucking years, for decades, about how just 2 different bands from the same town, from the same area, can be so vastly different. And I love it so much. Skynyrd is one of them. I think Skynyrd has a specific sound. I think this album is phenomenal. This is a bunch of guys that are not great, right? Like the other band that is perfect at Southern rock. They came out with their album like 3-4 years before this band did. And so they are taking, and like they were inspired by that band. Skynyrd like looked up to those people as idols. They loved that.
Yeah, Allman Brothers Band. Yeah,
they just were not as good as them, and they knew they were not as good as them. And so they, instead of like trying to be better at their instruments, they said, let's just fucking be sloppy punkers. They're essentially like the punkers of the Southern rock realm.
Well, come
is what's happening. What do you mean? Come on! They're playing things haphazardly. They're not that good at it. They have some cool fucking tunes that do shred. But really, they're not. They're no Dwayne Allman. Come on, that's a silly boy talk. But they're actually really, really good, and they're writing really catchy songs. They're writing really solid melodies, and they're having a good time doing it. They're looking up. They're on tour after this album comes out, making it's already selling millions of copies, and they're on tour with Blue Oyster Cult. Like okay, like besides Don't Fear the Reaper, does Amy know any fucking song by Blue Oyster Cult? No. Okay, so they're on tour with The Who in '73. Keith Moon is at his peak of drug addiction. He's falling over drum sets every fucking night. Nobody cares. And here's Skynyrd, man, just a bunch of fucking a bunch of nobodies, a ragtag team of fucking nobodies, dropping an album that is just so good. God damn, this album is good. This is a perfect album. This is a perfect 3.
Wow.
This is a perfect fucking 3.
Wow, you rarely throw that out there.
God damn, this album is so fucking good. This album is so important to Southern rock, because all you have is just guys that rip it up, like we mentioned earlier, right? Not still in the realm, but like Stevie Ray Vaughan, like a guy like, come on, dude, no one's gonna be like Stevie Ray Vaughan. That's just stupid. And then like Johnny Winter, like the dude is so fucking good. But even like Billy Gibbons, such a killer guitar player, like that you can't beat it. I don't know why ZZ Top sucks, but Billy Gibbons is fantastic. But these guys aren't that great. They're not that good. They're like, I don't know, they're like the Deep Purples, right? They're like the B team. They're really good B team.
Yeah, they are the B team. But when we're talking B team bands, even a band like Grand Funk, BT band, yeah. But a band like Grand Funk, I would much rather listen to Grand Funk than listen to Skynyrd, for sure. Even though I know the bigger hits, obviously, from Skynyrd, I would still, like, if I were to go to my collection, I would much rather pick out Grand Funk and listen to that than Lynyrd Skynyrd. Come on.
It's just fucking crazy to think that these guys who just they're really not that great at their instruments for the most part.
Surprisingly,
and then they come out,
it's crazy,
and they write like Freebird, and I don't know if it was just because in our youth we were just blinded by the fact that somebody wrote a 4 or 5 minute guitar solo, but like it's not that complex. It's not something you can't not learn. And you listen to something like Brian May from Queen's like guitar solos. Some of the stuff he did on like they're fucking exponentially better. They're so complex in such short times that you're like, there's no fucking way I can learn that. But then you listen to Freebird and you think there's no way I can learn that. But then you break it down and like, I could totally fucking learn this. And that's just
you're right.
That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me to think that these guys are just like, that's why I think they're out here just to have fun. They know they're not great, but they don't fucking care. That's why they're the punkers of the Southern rock realm. Punkers,
they're a bunch of tricksters. They're
not tricksters. They're just out here having a good time.
Okay. All right. So you gave it a perfect 3 out of 3. So
this album is unreal.
So, like I said earlier on, I came into this week, with higher expectations. I honestly was very disappointed. I was very disappointed upon my first listen of this record and all 5 of their 70s records. Upon subsequent listens of this one and Street Survivor, it began to grow on me. I started to understand it more and realize, this band is more of like they're just kind of like a ragtag group of guys who just kind of like to hang out. Like they're not guys that really like to necessarily jam. They're not guys that like to really write just like complex music, but they're just there to have a good time. That's what it is. And honestly, they're kind of like the OG versions of Deftones.
Dude, fuck out of here. Why do you you could have had a really good Rucka wrap up. You just fucking ruined it with the dumbest thing you've ever said.
But when you really think about it, like these guys
Nobody likes the Deftones.
Okay, let me get through this. Well, I don't know about that, dude, but when this band started, they were like 14, 15 years old. They started in in I forgot which guy's garage. They called it the Hell House because it was so fucking hot in Florida. They were a band for like 6 or 7 years before they even put out their first record. It was all about hanging out, drinking, partying, just living your life, having a good time. Much like Deftones, it was the same thing. Like that's how they kind of got their start. And yeah, the music is obviously vastly different, and Deftones are much better. But it just kind of like just how they started and how they kind of progressed as a band was so similar between the two of them, and I like that. I like that they just kind of they jammed together, but they still had to perfect it, and it was just more of a passion project than anything else. And I thought that was really cool. But in the end, this record still disappointed me. It's a good record, but I mean, I'll barely give this a a 2 out of 3. Barely give it a 2 out of 3.
That is so wrong, but that is fine,
Because
you're entitled to be wrong.
I won't
Not really.
I won't really go back to it that often, but I'll never buy it on vinyl. It's still good enough to be a 2, but I don't know how often I will go back to it. But I probably will go back to it at some point.
It's so
a
good.
2 out of 3.
God, it's
A
so
2 out of 3 for me on our 3-point rating system. I don't know.
You would seriously rather listen to like Can't Stand the Weather by Stevie Ray Vaughan than listen to this.
Oh yeah,
That's fucking nuts to me.
that's
Just
fine.
that's
I mean, you're
soulless
wrong.
wanking, and it's nuts to me.
That's fine. You just don't understand.
I guess not. I guess I need to get back into the Yngwie Malmsteen of guitar listening. So,
But like we've talked
Okay.
about, like fucking Allman Brothers do it so much better, and yeah, it might
different,
not
though.
be as
It's
catchy.
different.
I know, I understand it's different. I understand. But I like I said throughout this entire episode, I don't feel like the melodies are really there outside of like the big hits. The melodies, they're not there. Ronnie's not that great of a singer or lyricist, especially, and the music doesn't really stand up to make up for that. I don't know. They're fine.
You don't
They're
know.
fine. Just
You
like
don't know.
Just like we talked about ZZ Top, we would never go back to ZZ Top, even though Billy Gibbons, great fucking guitar player, but the music itself is not that great.
hate
Never
ZZ
go back
Top.
to it.
Hate them.
Can't stand.
Actually, I like
them.
one. I do like one album.
What album is that?
I kept it on the pod. It was De Guello.
Oh yeah, that's right. We did talk about that.
Guello.
Yeah.
You should listen to it. I think it's pretty good. I should listen to it again. Actually,
Of course you did, but you also listened to like several of these Lynyrd Skynyrd records. So,
so good.
well, debatable. All right. So, do we have anything else to say about
No,
Lynyrd Skynyrd,
that's,
this record, anything like that?
That's it. That's all.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, give us 5 stars on there, and you know the rest of the spiel. Tell all your friends, and yeah, we are the best, and that's it. That's all.
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Super fun. This week, but
Play some Skynyrd.
what did you just say?
Play some Skynyrd.
Annoying. Yeah.
So
you're
for
right.
you to constantly say, "Whoa," insert
Whoa.
other band here. This band does it better than them. Therefore, Skynyrd is not good. Like,
Okay,
this
how
is
about
fucking
this?
dumb. This is stupid. That's stupid.
Okay,
band
how about
talk.
this? How about this? This band I just don't really like that much, and I'll never go back to them.
Yeah, I know you don't like them for whatever fucking reason. That bothers me. So like Skynyrd and Grateful Dead are like as far as how they approach live music in regards to their studio stuff are fucking completely different, right? Apples and fucking drum sets, they're totally different. Because Grateful Dead, you listen to their studio albums, and I'm staring at my drum set right now. That's why I said that. I couldn't think of nothing else besides whatever I'm just saying. Like, that is just too high for them, and nobody puts them on a pedestal. People put Freebird on a pedestal, but not Lynyrd Skynyrd. No,
They are
Disagree.
the Foo Fighters of this genre. That's fair.
you were just fucking
Right?
cruising for a bruise, and I'll tell you that much right now.
That's fair, right?
It belongs up
So
there, like the top spots for pop, like Thriller, fucking Millennium by the
Yeah.
Backstreet Boys, Nevermind, The Spice World. Like, all these are great pop albums. Yes,
So-
I will agree.
There's a lot of things you're saying right now that you're gonna regret.
I regret nothing. I'll tell you that much right now. I don't know anything about it.